Well, my friends, it looks like hyperinflation may already be here, as food prices soar, as 2/3 of Americans admit that grocery bills are going through the roof, with meat eaters being hit the hardest. Hyperinflated burgers. Oh, the humanity! As things are getting more and more expensive. Meanwhile, Dr. Fauci admits that coronavirus being natural may not actually be all that likely. All that and more as we talk about the coming economic collapse. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we're here on the Daily Mail, and I've got a few stories for you today on the internet. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell button for notifications for more content, and share this video. If you like the content, be sure to share it online. Best way to help the channel other than joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar to support the channel. Let's get right into it, folks. Here in the Daily Mail, meat eaters get hit the hardest as inflation sees grocery bills soar. 2/3 of Americans say the price of beef and chicken has rocketed since the start of 2021. Data shows that 65% believe that red meat is the most expensive. And because of this, people are buying less red meat. And data is already showing that inflation may be here far more quickly than the experts have admitted. Now, this is a very important conversation to have, and I'm going to tell you why. For months now, the Fed, the government, has been saying that inflation isn't that bad and that we're going to be okay and that things are going to get better and that we're actually going to have a low inflation rate. I think that this is a lie, and I'm going to tell you why. We've printed more than half of the money supply in less than a year. Printing money with these stimulus packages. Stimulus bill, stimulus bill, stimulus bill. Printing money. My friends, this is exactly how hyperinflation happens. Inflation is already here. We are already seeing commodities like wheat, oil, gas, everything going up in price dramatically. Wheat was up 400%. Lumber was up, like 400, 500%? Everything is sky high. Now it's coming for food. Now, historically speaking, it's when the food gets too expensive that most countries collapse into civil war. I'm not saying that we're going to have a civil war because of food prices, but what I am saying is that I don't think people have realized that inflation is already here. And I've been saying this for months. If you've been listening to me, you know that inflation is here. Here's the annual inflation rate in the United States. And as you can see, in January 2020, it was 2.5%, hitting an all-time low in May of 2020 of 0.1%. As of April 2021, the inflation rate is 4.2%. Quite a dramatic upswing. And I gotta be honest, I think it's only gonna get worse. We may see an inflation rate of 7 to 15%. I would not be surprised if this is the case, if this is the real inflation rate. And for all we know, it could be slightly worse. But make no mistake, with what's going on, I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better. We are going through a bear market right now in the stock market, in crypto, and I do believe things will recover. They will recover, but inflation will not. The dollar is going down the drain. In other news, Dr. Fauci now admits that COVID may not be a natural virus. Here on the Daily Mail, 3 Wuhan lab researchers were hospitalized in November 2019, and Dr. Fauci now says he's not convinced COVID developed naturally and calls for a full investigation into what went on in China. Isn't it amazing, folks? For months, I've been saying that COVID may or may not have come from a lab, an artificial environment, or simply may not be naturally occurring. This was a valid theory. We have many mainstream scientists who have admitted this. And now, Dr. Fauci himself. And this is what pisses me off. How is it that someone like me, who covers world events and memes and all sorts of things on my channel, I talk about these things, sometimes half a year ahead of the so-called experts. I've been saying this since there was a virus coming out in January of last year. In some cases, you could get censored, you could get suppressed for talking about this, but all of a sudden, Dr. Fauci says, well, yeah, it may be an artificial thing. We don't know yet. We need to investigate China. Oh, now because the TV doctor said so, all of a sudden it's a valid theory. I said this 1 year ago. Okay? So Dr. Fauci was 1 year behind me. Isn't that amazing? 3 researchers from China's Wuhan's Institute of Virology became sick in November 2019 and ended up needing hospital care. leading many to question, were these 3 researchers sick with COVID? Was it the Virology Institute that had something to do with this? Previously undisclosed U.S. intelligence reports add weight to growing calls for a fuller probe of whether the COVID-19 virus may have escaped from the laboratory. Dr. Anthony Fauci questioned the origins of COVID-19 at a May 11th PolitiFact event. Asked if he's still confident if it developed naturally, Fauci said, "No, actually. Quote, I think we should continue to investigate what went on in China until we continue to find out, to the best of our ability, what happened," he said. Yeah, so he said so himself. Republicans and the GOP certainly seem to think that there is substantial circumstantial evidence of an artificial virus. Now, whether that was from a lab or from an institute, nobody really knows, but there are certainly lots of questions that remained unanswered. We all know that China is a very corrupt country. Like, it's literally a communist dictatorship where information is controlled. But now, all of a sudden, Fauci and WHO and everybody is admitting that COVID may have been artificial. Here in the comment section, Got Gasoline says, "So Trump was right as usual?" Surprise, surprise. Henry Kubert Edwards says, "Maybe, just maybe, the world will learn the truth after all. My guess is Fauci possibly has now realized the net is closing in." Well, I can't tell you where exactly the virus came from. All I know is that there is a biosafety level 4 lab known for testing coronaviruses, the Wuhan lab in Wuhan, and the virus came from Wuhan. Oh, let me use my brain cells. Ding, ding, ding. My brain has concluded that it is possible the virus was artificial and may have escaped from an experimental lab that was working on coronavirus. Dr. Fauci and other scientists admit. Wow. Whoa, my mind is blown. Which brings us to our last story of the day. Not really, but let's just segue anyway. Fury as a $47,000 a year Manhattan school, once attended by Barron Trump, forces juniors to attend compulsory pornographic material lessons on topics including incest roleplay. Hell yeah. And OnlyFans. Degenerate. Okay. So, I feel like we're living in clown world, living underneath the Democrats, living under Joe Biden, watching Biden completely destroy the American economy. Don't blame crypto, don't blame stocks, blame the Democrats. They are the ones who are in charge. Do you think that if Trump was president, that we would have had this market crash, that the oil pipeline would have been shut down, that any of this would have happened? No. We'd be in a booming economy, people would be back to work, unemployment would be over, and everything would be moving smoothly. Biden destroyed this country. And this is why. Because generations of people are being brainwashed in universities with this degenerate garbage. So juniors at a Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School were forced to attend a health and sexuality workshop on May 5th in which they learned about lewd materials. It just says a prep school, so I'm assuming it's like a pre-college kind of school. So the students at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School on Manhattan's Upper West Side were told to watch a slideshow entitled Pornographic Literacy, an Intersectional Focus on Mainstream Porn. The workshop was held on May 5th by Justin Ang Fonte, the Director of Health and Wellness. So, apparently this was forced upon children, kids, young kids. This is the woman, Justine Ang Fonte. She was the one who taught the lecture. Okay, let's look at what was in this. Wow. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Oh, whew. So the lecture included how pornographic material takes care of 3 male vulnerabilities. Youngsters were also shown statistics on the orgasm gap, showing straight women have fewer orgasms with their partners than homosexual men or lesbians. In photos of partially nude women, some of which who were in bondage. Another slide had incest-themed, consensual, vanilla, barely legal, kink, and BDSM. Man, this video is gonna get suppressed. What are you making me read? They were teaching this to children. Additionally, the slideshow included a list of most searched lewd terms, including anal, gangbang, and even stepmom, and discussed OnlyFans, where content creators share photos and videos of themselves not wearing clothes or having intercourse with subscribers for a monthly fee. Can we just admit that Western society is over? Can we just admit that now? That this is literally the end of an empire? The question is, what will be reborn from the ashes? Will it be a based and red-pilled, right-wing, libertarian, authoritarian utopia? Or is it going to be some authoritarian, Marxist, communist country? Okay? Are we going the way of Stalin, or are we going the way of based Roman Empire? You tell me, folks. You tell me. I also think that some of this data is this data is garbage. It is absolute garbage. I mean, look at this. Japanese is the most searched term. Yeah, that's good taste. Hentai. Oh, yeah. Number 2. Lesbian was number 3. Then there was MILF, Korean, Asian, stepmom, massage, and down the list. Well, I gotta say, these people got good taste. Japanese number 1, eh? Yeah. I really don't believe in this gap here that they're showing. I don't think there's a gap. Some straight up propaganda. Well, that's pretty much the story. These were all underage teenagers. I'm gonna read a few comments here. Emily Expat says, utterly sick. The schools are being run by leftist degenerates. Yeah. I mean, I'm honestly at a loss for words lately. It's like, every time I look at these stories, every time I dig deep into this, it's just one thing after the other. It is so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. We need a cultural revolution, my friends, because the world we're in right now disgusts me. And, I don't care about... I'm not a prude. I'm not a Puritan. I like it lewd. I like lewd things. But the society we live in is completely distorted, twisted, corrupt, and just unbelievable. Why are they teaching children about OnlyFans? One of the worst things to exist ever. Who do these streams where they show cleavage and then they just show off, oh, look, I'm a hot female, male, whatever. I'm gonna make money by showing off my body. Is that what society is now? Instead of people actually doing things, getting skills, contributing to society? Man, it's a joke. It's all a sad joke, my friends. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell button for notifications for more content. Support the channel by joining me on Patreon or Subscribe Store. This channel is not monetized. It relies on viewers like you. Check out my sponsors and have a wonderful day. I'll see you all next time.